Hey, Devin!
He was back there.
Yeah, he's out back.
He said you're all set.
Yeah.
Get fancy here.
I thought I
Did you see that?
10-4.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to tonight's Select Board meeting. I am Rich George. I will be sitting in tonight for Kevin, as he has had a planned absence, as well as Todd Boyer. We ask you at this time to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We want to apologize as a board. We're a couple minutes behind schedule because we inadvertently set the alarm off at the old Union Church and had to wait for Androscoggin County Sheriffs to arrive, so we didn't all go to jail tonight, so we could come hang out with you guys.
Who bailed you?
Well, we do have a quorum tonight. With that said, nothing really will be passed tonight other than just simple agenda items, simply because of the numbers that we have. Everything that's passed tonight must be unanimous. Amendments. Saying that, is there any amendments to the agenda tonight, gentlemen? No? Okay. At this time, we're going to open it up to public comment. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. This particular public comment has nothing to do with the public comment that is later to come in this session. This is just strictly whatever you got, whatever you want. Come on down and state your name.
John Talbot, 636 Stackpole Road, Durham. I would just ask that now that you're hip deep in the budget, that we take a look at putting the bulk trash day back into the budget.
Okay,
That was deleted last time. That's it.
thank you.
Bulk trash day.
Is there anyone else here for public comment? Hearing none, at this time, we will close public comment. Next up, we got reports. Tonight being the first report from our fire chief.
You sure you don't want to check with Calvin about that?
No, Calvin almost got me arrested. He was supposed to be there.
I'm telling you. The packet you have before you,
Yes.
we had discussed, and for the public, it's the capital improvement plan, ARPA funds request from the fire department. We had talked about maybe citing the 40-page executive summary of the COVID policy from the federal government. So your first paragraph is some citations from that, from the fire department. And I'll read the first sentence for the public. The final rule clarifies that recipients may use funds for programs, services, and capital expenditures that respond to the public health and negative economic impacts of the pandemic. That was from the U.S. Department of Treasury. Your second paragraph you'll see is really ambulance receipts, and this is just specific to the rescue transport receipts for Durham. So everyone either thinks or maybe under the impression that we're not losing funding or tax base, but in my research, the fire department has lost funding through its revenue collection for rescue transports. The numbers you have in front of you are collected by town personnel. So that's what's deposited each year, that's where that comes from. So you can see, you know, back in 2018, before COVID really started, we were at almost 43,000 in collection. Now, there's some variance and outliers. After 2019, we switched billing collection companies. So we were contracted with Freeport, then we switched to Comstar after that. So there could be discrepancies there that I'm not aware of. But you can see the timeline through that when COVID hit, we went all the way back down to 30,000. It increased to a high of 45 when COVID waned, and then last year it went down to 42. And the next paragraph will show you, that's all while increasing call volume. The last couple of years, we're up 21% in call volume. 70% of our calls are EMS, rescue calls. That's just Durham, and it's really the standard in the industry. 70% of what we do is that rescue. That being said, that's just a base of the fire department's been economically impacted, which also goes to the town now that funds go to the general fund. So just an overview, just in case we continue down the line of economics and fire department. The first up that I'm requesting, there are three, and you know, two are really ARPA and one's the capital, but the first one in front of you is a $60,000 request, and it is for a utility vehicle, a chief's car, and an EMS response car. What I envision in the description, and it's in front of you, I won't read it, is really a used pickup truck. Currently, for the last year, I'm using my personal pickup truck. I do get a stipend for that use. If we bought a utility with ARPA, again, used crew cab pickup, not unlike what Calvin has, with some lights, there's money left over to put striping and decals. There'll be first aid like I have a carbon monoxide meter, I have my gear, I have tools, but we can outfit it more. I'm always rotating crews on different calls, simultaneous calls, and I have been putting my personal truck in harm's way at car wrecks. So when it's icy out, I'm a blocker, if you will, you know, first one there. So if another car comes in, you know, the wife and I own it, really. So that's what that request is for, and again, it gets into the specifics of it. Again, due to contractual obligations, you know, it'll offset, if I don't get paid, it'll offset that by 50%, certainly fuel and wear and tear on any vehicle. Currently, we don't have that. I was looking for diesel because we have diesel fuel on site. That would make it easier. But again, just a used utility. I have reached out, it says in here, to town businesses to see if they have a local or a truck that they're giving away, selling, trading in. I've gone to the state surplus to see if they have a vehicle. I've gone to military surplus. So it's not that I haven't due diligence on trying to secure a used vehicle. The second one, and after talking to the officers for Durham Fire, is really, even though it's a two priority, that they think it's urgent, is what's called Plymo vents. Plymo is really a brand name of diesel exhaust. So the Plymo vents really hook up. We have 6 trucks, they're all diesel. We really have a ill-functioning exhaust system in the station. We have a 3x3 hole in the wall that has a fan. When a bay door goes up, day, night, summer or winter, it just pulls a negative draft. So it pulls in 20-degree air right into our bay, and it brings the particulates and the cancer-causing diesel exhaust right through our gear station and out the back. We do have an open house Saturday. Everyone's invited. You'll see the staining everywhere, whether it's gear, walls. We don't have magic doors that block the diesel exhaust. So, you know, we have EMS supplies. We have people that eat there and, you know, work there 12 hours a day. So the 50,000 is really last year's, and I can forward that to you. It was December of last year's quote for them to come out and put in. What they are is really just a bendable sleeve that goes right on your exhaust, and it follows a track. So you start your truck up, it gets sucked out all through vents, you go all the way out, and it releases upon the outside bay, right where that door is. So it cuts it down by over 90%. But with cancer and the fire service being the leading cause now of members' death, it is a standard for NFPA, and if we ever did a new station, it would be the standard in the station, is some type of better exhaust. I understand it's not sexy, but, you know, that ARPA funds is sort of for those one-time best practices, so I bring it to your all attention. Finally, for the fire department, again, how you fund it, I put it under the capital. We asked last year for 100,000. We did secure, I believe, 59,000, but we need another 100, and that's to rehab our Quint
ladder truck. It'll be 29 years old. The serviceability lifespan are 30, but with an investment in this, we're looking at 5 to 7 years, if not longer, prolonging the truck. It only has 25,000 miles on it. I've added the engine hours, 4,800, pump hours, only 429. A used truck is $500,000 to start, that's just used, and a brand-new ladder, just to replace that, is well over $1 million, and it's 2 years out. So this funds, and some grants that we're trying to secure for the brush truck, will just prolong what we have and what we appreciate. That ladder goes on dozens upon dozens of calls a year. It does have a pump. I don't think everyone realizes that it has our technical rescue equipment. It has 7, SCBA's. It's really a troop carrier. We can run a whole fire with that apparatus if need be. When one of our trucks was down recently and we sent the other pumper on mutual aid, the Quint was protecting the town completely. It can draft, it can do everything a pumper can with the aerial. And the department really appreciates what we have. We just want to upgrade it. That's lighting, hydraulics, some mounting of equipment professionally. It's not a full, it's a rehab, it's not anything else. Lights that draw power. So that's what I presented you all tonight with our ideas and wishes for ARPA funding, where we're coming from for budget, and what it needs to be used for. I'm sure there'll be questions later, but that's the dirty of it tonight.
Sure. Does any of the board members have any questions for the chief?
No, I appreciate
Super.
the information. Thank you.
Super.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, chief.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This time, if we could have the road commissioner.
So, do you guys have, you guys have
Yep.
those already?
Yep. We do, thank you.
So, I've got 3 requests. We'll start with the $150,000 request from ARPA funds, would be for the MDEP for the stream crossing, Meadowbrook, Swamp Road, for flood mitigation and environmental improvements for fish passageways. And so we're looking at $150,000, the total project being at $300,000. Looking at $150,000 from ARPA funds and $150,000 from the Maine Department of Environmental Protection grant that is in the works, and we unfortunately won't know for sure if we get that grant or not until November. So this is somewhat speculative, but I'm told that it was approved already last year, so high probability that it's going to get approved again. Don't see any reason that it wouldn't. Second project is the $100,000 for, which is the way we had done it last year, just to maintain the fund. Looking at that coming from property taxes. And the, so I don't know if these are all just ARPA or?
Yeah, you should just stick to ARPA
Okay.
tonight.
Well, and the final one is the, and this one I don't know, it's the 2008, and I have current capital funds and property taxes for the, which is, on the CIP plan. So this is CIP, I mean, if, I don't know if this fits in the ARPA for this truck, or, I guess I'll leave it to the board to decide if they would want to put this in ARPA, if it was available, but these are the 3 requests, and so essentially just this stream crossing environmental, and I know stormwater is one of the priorities that the ARPA funds is looking to disperse funds with, so I know that wouldn't be an issue. And that's what I've got.
Any questions for Calvin?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Calvin.
Moving right along, we will go to the town manager's report, sir.
Okay, thank you. So So the projects that we currently have going, I think I told you last meeting, this building's all set. We got the heat and the air conditioning and the insulation's all blown in, it's good. The fire station has been completed as well. So
Great.
Agility has done their work, and they sent in their last invoice, and that's being paid as we speak. So that all went pretty good. As far as the phones go, we did move the phones over to Comcast. That happened last Thursday. It went pretty well. I mean, anytime you're moving phones over, there's gonna be a learning curve and a few snafus, and we're working them out as we speak right now. So it's just a little different, the phones and the way they operate and that sort of thing. I know Fire had some issues where the phones weren't ringing, and I know Dev has been working with them and getting that all up to speed, so that's basically done. But they'll follow up in a couple weeks to make sure everything is good, but as far as my phone works great, so. That's that.
All that matters.
Yeah, as far as,
Figured out how the caller ID
Right.
was working, like, all
Right.
right, we're not gonna get that one.
Spatial Alternatives, George is working with them to get that ball, they're meeting tomorrow to go over the schedule and get that ball rolling, so, that's in the works as well, so. The initial ARPA funds are moving along, those projects are moving along good. No issues there. Boards and committees and the vacancies, so I have had a couple of requests, a couple of them came in today. A couple for the budget committee, and I had one for the conservation commission too. So I will give you more information on that next meeting, because I haven't really gathered anything right now, but there is interest.
I have a name for someone who's interested in planning board.
Okay, on the planning board?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll put all that together, and next week we'll kind of look at those and see how you want to move forward with those vacancies. But, so I think there's 2 or 3 on the budget and 1 on the Conservation Commission, and then another one for the planning board would be good. So I'll just keep you updated and see if we can get those filled.
Fair enough.
I think that's pretty much it on our current funding for ARPA and boards committees. Other than that, I don't have a lot to report this week. It was a busy week last week with the phones and everything, and
Sure. After that, I'm assuming most of the invoices, you said a lot of the invoices went out this week. Do we have exactly where we're at with the remaining ARPA funds?
no, I can dig that up though.
Okay.
Because the Agility one was pretty pricey. That's up around 40,000 to get all that done. And I haven't gotten the full invoices from Comcast yet either, so it might take a
So
little
we
bit.
still, okay.
So I will update you on where we have as far as that money goes. And we still have the computers that we're still working on too as well, so we are looking into a lease. But to do a lease, a company's gotta come in and they gotta kinda do an assessment on what we have for, computers and that sort of stuff before they can really give us a price. So they're coming in on the 20th, I believe,
Okay.
to kinda look at that. So I'll keep you updated as those costs come in and what I feel is probably the better route to go, once we have those numbers. Yeah. So it's a work in progress.
So,
I'm good, yeah.
do you gentlemen have any questions? No. I just had one, Jerry. As far as, I did get your packet, and thank you for capital project requests. Do you want those considered also for ARPA with regards to Allen, codes enforcement
Oh, okay,
officer, et
so-
cetera?
Oh, so you want me to talk about my capital request a little bit?
If only if you're looking for something, because the base of the meeting for the most part tonight is on ARPA. If this is something you're entertaining, trying to secure some ARPA funds for, then absolutely.
Yes, yeah. Okay, so one of the projects that I have is to replace the copier that we have, that we are now currently leasing. As the document says, we've been leasing this thing for 5 years, it's coming up. So the lease for that thing is $22.45 a year. Plus, we pay $720 for the fax machine for a total of 5,000 per year, roughly, 5,015.04. So we can buy one outright for $63.54 and get into an annual service contract for that machine for $800. Okay, so there's gonna be an initial upfront cost, but if the subsequent years, you're gonna be paying $800 versus $5,000 a year. And the savings is right there. If you do the lease option, versus the purchase option, you're saving $14,720 over a 5-year period. And that's what I would recommend that we do that, is to buy the copier right outright. And the copier becomes its own fax machine too, so we can get rid of the fax machine and get rid of that $720 that we're currently paying. So $5,000 is a lot of money, and that doesn't cover the overage when we print more than what's allotted. And right now, we're at 800 for black and white copies and 600. So election years, we'll probably print more, things like that, so you pay an additional on top of that. So I would recommend using $6,000 of ARPA money to get us a copy of fax machine all in one, rather than paying the $5,000 a year.
Okay.
And another thing too, if you read in here, a life of a copier is 800,000 copies, and we average about 50,000 a year. So if we buy it, it should last us for quite some time.
And as Mr. Plummer's just.
Plummer's not here. He he should have been here to state his case, but he's
I mean,
looking for a plotter.
if he's looking for ARPA dollars, he can be here, but if this is
Right.
just something that's gonna go into our budget that we're gonna entertain for the year, and as far as putting it for the CIP committee, then he's okay.
We can do that too.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you wanna add?
No, I'm good. I'm all set. Thank you.
Thank you. So with that said, I'm gonna reopen the floor back up to public input regarding the use of ARPA funds. This is a chance for a citizen to vocalize what they'd like to see with this money that we received, et cetera, for the board to entertain, to put forth to whether it's next year using on the budget. Really, rather than saying next year, to put forth to the town to see if the town would approve it, to use it for that use. That's really what it is. So there's quite a few people here, I'm assuming, to speak on this, so let's try to keep it, 4 minutes apiece or something of that nature. All righty? Anybody here for that would like to go up first? All right, we got a winner.
Yeah, I'll get it over with. Yeah, somebody's got to go, right?
Yes.
Do I need to say my name?
Yes, please, and your address.
Phyllis Brannon, Brookside Drive,
Thank
here in Durham. We've talked about this at town meetings previous years. It's about extra or funding for additional police or sheriff's presence in Durham. And my understanding is that we currently have some presence already, but with ARPA funds, I'm looking at perhaps adding more. We have, more development coming in, we have more cars on the roads, they're going faster, all those things. So I'd like to just suggest that we look at that again. I was thinking like 4 additional hours per month. I don't even know what we currently have, but anyway, additional hours, maybe 4 hours or whatever that looks like, but to use ARPA funds for that.
Yeah, we brought this, I think it was maybe $3,400 to the town
Several years ago.
probably 3-4 years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
And, boy, we didn't get a good warm welcome on it, but we certainly can, I'm not sure what extent we could use, correct me if I'm wrong here, Jerry, because this would be a service, it wouldn't be an, acquiring anything.
Right. It would be a contracted service.
It would be a contracted service. Would that fall in lines with that use of that money?
I don't know.
Yeah. I think it would, but
Well-
we could certainly put it down
Put it in.
and we're running up the flagpole, as they say, and,
Okay.
See what the cost is.
Okay.
yeah. So
Well,
you're
you know-
thinking just additional hours of monitoring traffic?
Yeah, or,
Et cetera.
what, you know, they could be, you know, as the chief mentioned, you know, we have increased numbers of, calling the fire department, EMS,
Yeah.
you know, car accidents and that kind of thing. So it just tells us that our town is growing. We have more cars here coming through. We're kind of a thoroughfare, I guess. Yeah, so whatever we currently have, but just increasing that. I don't, maybe 4 extra hours a month, I don't know.
Okay.
Whatever that is, but
We
I
don't
put
really
that
have a
out there.
set amount that we currently have, it's just based off of, I don't think they tell us exactly how much time they send here, but they are here, they were here tonight in about 35 minutes
Yeah.
from the time we set the alarm off, so they are, we had 2 officers visit us tonight,
Oh, yeah.
one officer and his K-9, so.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I believe Jessica has been in touch with the, Androscoggin, because she needs it for the election, and I
Yeah.
think that you can hire them in like 4-hour minimum blocks,
Yeah.
I think is what she
You
said.
can, and that's what we proposed, several years ago, so, and it was mostly for just,
Traffic type stuff.
trying to do some traffic, trying to
Event kind of
corral
things.
some of the speeds that were going
Yeah.
through the town, so it's a wonderful idea.
Well, I
think
suggest
it's
that,
great.
and, you know, if it goes, I mean, you try it every 3 or 4 years.
Oh, absolutely, we'll put it on there as, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely,
Yeah.
thank
Right.
you very much,
Great.
Phyllis.
Thank you, Phyllis.
We have another volunteer for tonight's ARPA fund discussion, any public input for that?
Somebody else is just pulling in, I'm assuming that might be what they're here for, but,
How's it blowing up too?
Can I ask a question too? I mean, it's.
Yes,
not-
ma'am, yes, ma'am.
So this is a Tuesday night, and as you can see, we don't have a lot of people. Are we considering having this for public comment another, like a Saturday morning or another? I don't know why people aren't here. I'm kind of disappointed, but
Yeah,
they're not. It could be work or.
Um, well, I would say this, we certainly can, there's no harm in it, I mean, some of the projects that the town deemed, you know, for lack of better words, emergent, we did, like the heating system here was in the chief's, station also, was in dire need, so we really needed to, act swiftly on that before the cold months got here. But as always, all this stuff is open for discussion, not a dime of ARPA funds will be spent without a vote.
I'm just hoping that we would open it up another opportunity, because there aren't very many people here tonight for whatever reason. We would have
Yeah, we can
another-
certainly try. Yeah, we
I
can
don't
certainly
know what
try.
that looks like, but
Yeah, but unfortunately, this is a lot of times the turnout that we get.
I know.
Um,
There's a lot of
so-
meetings, I know.
I know you did, Phyllis,
I do.
so thank you. So seeing nobody, that person in the parking lot?
I think they left.
Anyone else here for ARPA?
Wow.
Well, hearing none, I will close the public input regarding the use of ARPA funds. Right along, consent agenda. Any board member can ask to have any of these items removed from the consent agenda. Tonight, we will be, for discussion, approve the minutes from September 27th, 2022, the select board meeting, and approve and sign September 30th and October 7th, 2022 warrants, both payable and payroll. Do we have a motion?
So moved. To approve.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
I'm good.
Good?
Yeah.
Hearing no discussion, we will call the vote.
All in favor?
Consent agenda approves 3-0. Next up, we have a BYOB permit for review and discussion.
There's 3 of them.
3 BYOB. I only got one on here, buddy.
2 of them are from the same gentleman, and then there's another one. They're pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
They pretty much have done everything right on those permits. So, you know, the idea is when they bring alcohol to a place that serves alcohol, they need to have one of these permits. So what I do is I had Chief look at them, and I had Codes also look at them. well, that they put the law on the back. Now, it's up to you folks, but if you don't want to deal with those in select board meetings, you can designate your town manager to deal with those. And how I would deal with those is I would have chief look at them and codes. They get their blessing, then, and they filled it out correctly, and there doesn't seem to be any issues. I would just sign off on it, and you wouldn't have to do that. But that's up to you, how you wanna do that.
If I may.
Give me 2 seconds, and I'll certainly open it up to you, because I know you're the applicant, so
Yes, sir.
we're gonna take yours first.
I'm just
Nate.
here for the discussion. that's
Yeah,
all.
absolutely. Let me fill these gentlemen haven't seen it, and then we can open it up for that.
Absolutely.
I believe one's a celebration of life.
I'll get to that one.
Okay.
Secondly, we'll take them individually. For those who are just watching at home, this is a very, or in the audience, this is a very common practice in this town. It's just, this is what we call people doing the right thing. They know they're supposed to do this, and they took the time to actually do it. This is not an uncommon practice. As far as, while they're looking over that, just to answer your question on that, I wouldn't have a problem designating the town manager to do that, and these gentlemen can speak for themselves, but I certainly wouldn't do it without all 5 select board members here.
Right, and that's
So we can entertain that
Yep.
if you want to put it on the agenda on the
Next
next.
week, okay.
Did you guys get a chance to look that over?
Yep.
All right. Did you have any questions in regards? No? Okay.
Straightforward.
Nate is here from the Durham MVets Post. Nate, is there something you wanted to add to these two
Yeah,
applications?
Yeah, if I could, if you
Absolutely.
don't mind. Yeah.
No, absolutely.
Nate Ledger, Brianna Drive. There was some discussion before about the BYOB permits and how our license is set up. First of all, I just want to say that our license renews in January,
Okay.
like 2 months from now, and we're looking to increase our license to the next level, the next level up, which would eliminate these BYOB permits. So from the American Veterans Club, you won't be seeing these. Hold on, let me back that up. Just as here is a democracy, over there is a democracy as well. So everything has to go to vote, but what it's leaning towards is that the club is going to vote for the increase in liquor license, which would eliminate the BYOB permits altogether. We wouldn't need them. When we do our BYOB permits, they are for areas of on the grounds, excluding the bar the lounge area downstairs. That is always and will forever be for members only, veterans and their bona fide guests. Each veteran that's a member there gets 5 guests per person, and there's rules and regulations on all that stuff. The downstairs will always be members and bona fide guests. For these BYOB permits, when we have celebrations of life upstairs, I do apologize that I try to get them to you as fast as I can because I need your signature.
Yeah.
With the state law being 24 hours prior to, I think they set that up for these celebrations of life. We can't plan for that unexpected death of a family member, and if they want to get together and share a cocktail or do whatever they want to do, sometimes we get these permits in and it is beyond the agenda. So I apologize for that. I've been working with Jessica to try to get them in there in a timely manner so you guys have time to look them over. But going back to it, if our vote is approved at our next meeting, come January, we're going to increase, which would then take our liquor license to be a club with catering. And all that means is if somebody were to rent out our upstairs space for a celebration of life per se, part of the rental agreement, they would have to select if they want it to be catered. And by catered, it means by us. So we would provide the bartender, we would provide the beer and the liquor, and we would sell that just as if we were selling it downstairs.
Which is not a quasi, for lack of better words, open social club.
No, it's still, even when you...
Basically the same premise.
It's the same premise,
Yes.
yeah. And so even if you're going to have an event, those events are still private events. So never are we open to the public. Even when we do these BYOB events, the BYOB events are private and they're held by a particular individual who has to sign their name saying I'm responsible for everything. And then right now, currently, we are having individuals get their own insurance for different events. When we go to a club with catering, we're going to increase our insurance. And so then it all falls under one roof. The reason this didn't happen in the beginning is start small, baby steps. When this post before my time, they were just getting started. They didn't really know what they needed. They went for the smallest amount possible. Licenses are not cheap. So they went with the smallest amount possible. We're growing in size and membership, which is a good thing. And so we're gonna be looking to increase that.
Okay. The only thing I would add to that, and thank you for bringing it to our attention, is just maybe, because it's eventually gonna hit our desk, and
Yeah.
just to keep it expediting, I don't know if I don't know off the top of our head if it would require a public meeting of some sorts, where the people could have input. I
For
really
what now?
don't know.
For,
For your next one?
for the next license.
For your next licensure?
Yeah.
So let's double check with codes and possibly run it by.
I'm
plan,
assuming
things like that.
because I need the select board signatures for the license itself.
Yeah,
We need
which
to,
you do.
we need to inform you that we're having it.
Right, this is technically a public meeting, but don't worry about it. I'll make sure that we do the proper notice. I'm just not sure what we would have to do.
Tell me what we need to do and I'll do it.
Oh, I know you will.
Yeah.
That's why I'm just bringing it to your
I'm one of
attention
those,
now.
I'm one of those guys.
No, I hear you. No, there's no problem. So
Yeah.
let's go this way. Let's get these squared away.
Yep.
And then we'll deal with that further down the road, and then we can, maybe the town manager or codes can make sure that we're all doing the proper things. The same thing with the chief, if there's anything on his end that needs to be done,
And like I said,
just to keep it expedited. I mean,
And I'm just learning now about the agenda thing to try to get stuff
Yeah.
into Jessica
will.
before the agenda gets
Sure.
posted so that y'all aren't blindsided,
no, that's cool.
because nobody likes to be blindsided.
So we're gonna take these one at a time. I'd like to entertain a motion for, the Durham AmVets to hold a BYOB on 10/29/22 from the hours of 11 a.m. to 6 p.m.
I'll make a motion.
I'll entertain a- You'll make a motion?
Yep.
And do we have a second?
No.
All righty, any discussion? Any questions for the applicant? No? All those in favor? 3-0. I'd like to entertain another motion for another event at the Durham AmVets for a BYOB, in the upstairs of their function hall for a Halloween dance from, on 10/29/22, from the hours of 6 o'clock to 11:30.
It'll be a busy day.
It's gonna be a busy day, those are back to back. So I'll entertain a motion for that.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
No.
All right, and a vote? 3-0.
We have a hunter's breakfast that morning as well, so.
Where do you get all the staff?
4 a.m. until midnight is gonna be a long day.
No mimosas?
No mimosas for the hunters.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
With
yeah,
firearms
sure
involved
started,
afterwards.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, wardens wouldn't like that.
That's it.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So while these gentlemen are signing it, just to put that out there, the Durham AmVets on that day, what was that, the 28th?
29th?
29th, from 6 to 11:30 at night. We'll be having a dance if anyone would like to attend that. Costumes optional.
Costumes are mandatory.
Mandatory costumes.
But we're trying to get a good turnout. Trophies and awards, prizes
Oh, wow.
for best dressed, couples, best couple,
Nice.
costume, whatever. So those are all going out.
Fantastic. Alrighty, do we have a Sandra Moon present tonight? Okay, no big deal. Gentlemen, we have a applicant for BYOB for Sandra Moon at 99 Durham Road, and this says, I'm guessing that's the address. So this is gonna be at the Durham AmVets Hall also, my apologies, which will be at 1049 Royalsboro. This is for a lovely 60th birthday, and it will go on November 5th from 3 to 7 p.m., and approximately 60 people will be attending. And we have no comments from Ms. Moon. Let you gentlemen look at that before we...
Straightforward. Sir.
This time, I'd like to entertain a motion for Miss Sandra Moon to have a BYOB at the Durham Vets Hall on 11/5/22 from 3 to 7 p.m. for a 60th birthday party.
Make a motion.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor? 3-0. Alrighty, at this time, we would like to alert everybody to the upcoming meetings for the town. We have a select board meeting on 10/25/22 and 11/8/22 at 6:30 PM at the town hall. With that said, before we go any, would you gentlemen mind having one of those 2 dates, maybe one more public comment regarding the ARPA funds?
Yeah, I think that's,
Can't hurt, right?
no, can't hurt. Nope.
So Jerry, do you have I don't know what your agenda is, if you're gonna slam us one night or the other. So why don't we go 11/8, give it a little bit more
I like
further out,
Yeah.
a little
I
bit
like
more notice?
Yep, I like it, yep.
All right, and we'll do one more public hearing on that. We also have a planning board informational meeting on October 12th at 6 PM. That is gonna be at our beautiful fire station, hosted by Chief Tripp himself. I don't know about the cocktails, folks. The topic on that will be affordable housing and road ordinances. With that said, are we going to need an executive session today?
No, I don't have anything.
All right.
Bottle of water and beer cans?
Do you gentlemen have anything further to add?
No, thank you.
Okay. With that said, we'd like to call this meeting to adjourn. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Any discussion? I didn't think so. All those in favor? 3-0.
There we go. You're gonna get sleep tonight.
What did I tell you?
Chief, I'm sure you know that the Auburn Fire Department has a